Hello, everyone. Welcome to Part of the Smash, Episode 8. I'm going to be the moderator today. I'm Noah. Today we have 4 guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves right now, tell you their names and where they're from, and their role in the Smash community.
All right, I'm Clay Graff, or Beta Clay, and I am a Smash 4 player. And recently I've taken over for TOing the weeklies at Underground Gaming with a couple other guys. So, that's me. Oh, and I'm from Omaha. Sorry.
David?
I am David Navarrete, aka David Q. Been in and out of the Smash community since 10 years ago, maybe longer. Took a big break in the middle, but now I've been playing a lot lately and going to tournaments, and yeah, that's me.
Magic?
Oh, dang, I didn't know. Mine is, I thought Thomas was in there. Nah, I'm Magic. You should all know who I am. I really don't need an introduction, but I'll tell you anyways. I'm the best there ever was, the best there ever will be, and I play Melee like a champion.
Alright, and I am Blank Mauser from Iowa. I mostly play PM now, but I started with Brawl, and I kind of jump around, try to play a little bit of everything. Kind of helping out with the Iowa scene, TOing, organizing, moderating, stuff like that, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We're going to start off with our first topic on commentary, how to be a better commentator. Any of you want to start with an opening thought here?
I think the most basic thing is just to know what you're talking about if you're going to commentate. Because you see like so many people who go up to commentate then just have no idea like what they just want to like hear themselves talk. They just go up there to
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, they just want to go up there and like be on stream and like they think it's such a cool thing, but they don't either like have enough insight into the game or know enough about it at all to really provide any insightful commentary.
Yeah, I think it's important that like people realize you're there to enhance the experience. So they're there to watch. People are there to watch the match, and you're there to improve on it, not necessarily be on stream or plug yourself. You know.
Definitely true. I think one of the biggest things we need to see is not just a knowledge of the game, but a little bit more knowledge of the players would help, and just staying on subject, which is the main event, the game that you're watching.
Right, and I think... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say staying on subject seems to be the biggest problem that I see. The thing that I get most upset about, and I don't even say upset, that I just think isn't working out, is they just start talking about random other things, and one thing leads to another, and it's like they weren't even watching the game.
Yeah, and I think giving stories behind the players is really interesting, like background and just predicting the patterns and matchup experience that the players know before they go into the match, like how they'll approach this and how they'll approach that. Like that's really interesting to hear about when you watch.
And I think if you have the knowledge, like maybe give a background explanation of why you thought they picked that counter-pick stage or that counter-pick character. You know, just give a little extra.
Right, and like most people, like when they get on commentary, and commentary is hard. I definitely don't want to say it's easy. It's really easy to get critical of commentary, but commentary is actually really difficult. A lot of people fall into this play-by-play, autopilot kind of commentary, and that's nice, but if you can explain why they're doing things, I think that's even better, and that's how you like really separate yourself from other commentators.
Okay, but you guys are all talking about an ideal world here, right? So a big problem that I think we've had so far is that all times that we've streamed have been, and I don't mean TBR, I just mean streams in general, have had basically open mic, so anyone can get on and start commentating. And part of the problem is we don't have any, you know, dedicated commentators that either as soon as they're done with the game, they're back over there on commentary to, you know, help out with that sort of thing. What do you guys think about that?
Some of the people.
Go ahead.
Yeah, some of the people that are best on commentary are, you know, they're gonna be good at the game too. So it's really difficult to pull them away sometimes, you know.
I don't think at least in Omaha the scene's quite big enough yet to have not have dedicated commentaries, just to where there is at least 2 core people who are kind of willing to just do that, because everyone that commentates so far is a player too, and it's just like Blank said, it's really hard to do both, especially if you're winning and you're commentating well. It's a hard thing to keep up, I would imagine. I don't do it because I don't want it to affect the way I play.
Yeah, commentating is like any other thing. It's just like playing. If you want to get better at it, you gotta practice at it, you know? You gotta do it, and you gotta watch other commentators, find out what they're doing that you like and what you don't like, so that you can get used to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest problems. We do have a lot of people who really don't commentate. They don't have their own Twitch stream. They don't have their own talk show, their own podcast, or anything like that. And then they get on and, well, this is their first time commentating. And I know it's going to be a lot of people's first time. We don't have any professional commentators. But yeah, I definitely think that just if you want to commentate, if you think that you can do the job, go ahead and sign up, sit down. It's an open mic, and, do your best. But, I mean, if you just want to have your face out there during that tournament, I say just sit back down and let someone else give it a try.
Who are your guys' favorite commentators that we have on semi-regularly?
I would say probably Tony and Magic for sure. Rocha is pretty good. It's pretty funny. I don't know.
I really love listening to Rocha.
It just, I don't know how PG-13 he keeps it, but what?
You wouldn't think so.
There. Those are the only ones that come to my head. Oh.
I
What
think
about
one of my favorite
professional?
pro commentators is got to be like Homemade Waffles, because I feel like when he's commentating, he's not just like it seems like you're like there talking to him, to me, like, because he keeps it casual but also like tells you what's going on in the game, and that's one of my favorite things in commentary.
Yeah, it might seem kind of dumb, but if you like want to practice commentary, maybe just watch a match and pretend you're like talking to a friend about it. Because like my favorite commentator is Bobby Scar. You can definitely tell just his excitement for the game leaks out. If I never knew about Melee, I'd listen to his commentary and I'd be super interested. Just you can tell his passion for the game just by hearing him talk about it. And I mean, another favorite commentator of mine is Wife. He's just super analytical, and he'll start predicting, especially in the Peach versus Marth matchup, he'll like predict what the players are going to do, and I think that's like really impressive.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard IFC Yipes. He's a fighting game community commentator, but he's really he has a lot of knowledge of the game, but it's like that what Blank just said. He definitely has a passion for the games he commentates for and loves them and knows a lot about them, and he starts to get really excited when cool stuff happens, and it really gets you excited, Can't help it.
I actually wanted to go back to go ahead, Clay.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, one of the things I don't like is like recent D1 commentary, for example, where it seems like he's just trying to like make it like esports, but that like fire, that like passion isn't really there anymore. It's just like, oh, and here we have a Fox doing a shine. What's he gonna do next? And that's just like all it is. And I don't know.
Yeah, I think D1 has kind of coined a lot of catchphrases at this point, and he's kind of fallen into that loop a little. But he does it a lot, He commentates a lot, so he's bound to have some repeats, I guess.
So how do you guys feel about commentary that's kind of more play-by-play versus, I want to say, analytical?
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I feel like that kind of commentating is for radio, and at no point in time are you going to be listening to a match and not watching it.
I think it's okay if they have someone to balance it out. If one guy's like play-by-play and the other one's kind of like something different, just with some like funny or analytical, like you said, just a good balance. I'm not against it as long as there's a good balance with it.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me the perfect commentary duo is like someone doing play-by-play and then someone analyzing the match. Color commentary and also analytical commentary.
Yeah, like commentators like only as good as their partner they're commentating with. Because if you have like two analytical people, it's probably going to be boring commentary. And if you have like two really hype people, it's probably not going to be that insightful commentary. You have to have like a good mix of everything, of both, or like play-by-play and analytical, like whatever. You just have to like make sure you have a mix and not just two people doing the same thing, for sure.
Another thing that drives me nuts is like Scar and Toph. They're both really good commentators in my opinion, but they talk over each other like mad so much. If you talk over your partner, like, I mean, I know you want to get what you want said, but I don't know. You got to have some synergy,
Yeah.
It's hard not only to think about stuff to say on the fly, but also having synergy with the person you're sitting next to. So that's why commentary is so difficult.
I mean, I feel as a whole, we just need to have the people that want to commentate be the ones that are commentating and really give them the experience they need. Because really, I mean, no one has experience around here doing this. And I think that's just, if we want to make the stream look a lot better, I think we just need to have the same people. If we can, let's get Roche on as often as possible. Personally, he's my favorite just because of all the hate. I love the hate coming out of his mouth.
He's muted.
Oh, no, you're muted, son.
Sorry, dude. I was muted. So the next topic is the fighting game community in Smash. Playing in both fighting games and Smash. Who wants to start off?
I mean, I could talk about it, but I just don't know. What do you want? I need some like more specific.
Transitioning.
Okay. Like, I don't think it's that difficult from Melee, at least personally to Melee, from transitioning from Melee between playing, like, let's say Guilty Gear, what I primarily play. I would say because the games are very similar to me. One of the reasons I started playing Melee again and I started picking up Smash is because Guilty Gear kind of died for me about 2009. It was just kind of non-existent. No one really wanted to play anymore. All big tournaments had stopped. It was just the game had kind of, the scene for Guilty Gear was kind of dying. And Smash to me is very relatable because it's just very fast-paced, lots to think about, lots to do. So for me, it's not really that huge. And I would say it's probably that way kind of for Marvel too, because Marvel is very fast-paced. Something like Street Fighter 4 though, which is not something I really play, I would imagine that would be quite a transition, especially if you're doing both. But I mean, I could say the same for playing Smash 4 and then playing Melee. I don't think that's probably that's probably harder than just because the games are sort of similar.
Yeah, there are people who are successful in both genres. I know Leffen, like, he made it out of his pools for King of Fighters at EVO, and we were all kind of impressed because King of Fighters was super stacked that year, full of really good players. And King of Fighters is kind of a game that has short hops too, so you can definitely find similarities between Smash and fighting games. It's just mostly the stages being so different that you have to look out for. But
and just like pulling back to block and not having unless you're playing Mortal Kombat, I guess. But the block button as opposed to back to block, that's drastically different.
Yeah, but like the idea of like block stun and pressuring people and mix-ups, like all of that is there. Fundamentals, anti-airing,
absolutely,
it's all there, and it's all just happening like in a different way, and it's happening fast or slow. Either way, it's still there. You can carry fundamentals over between every game, and I think Melee is a lot more accessible than people say. It's all in how about you perceive it.
One question I would like, just between you and David and Blank, you both play multiple games, is for the tournament scene when we do have things like UMSK, or like we did at Spring Showdown, we have multiple of those games at the same location. Is that more fun for you? Is that less fun for you guys? That you have to be jumping back and forth between different games? But did you wish they were on their own? Or do you like the fact that they just bring more people?
I personally like it because the more people for me, the better. And it's one thing that happens to me at tournaments if I'm not involved with it always is I get very antsy and the wait is really killer. So having kind of something to do and something to focus on instead of just kind of focusing on like your match in 3 hours. Not that you shouldn't be, I guess, but it's just a lot of times I kind of overhype the match in my head because I'm just sitting there thinking about that and only that. So having, let's say, Melee to play while we're waiting for top 16 to start for Guilty Gear is really beneficial to me, I think, because it just lets me kind of do, think about Melee and just think about playing Melee well. And I think when I'm on. So it doesn't either I'm on and I'm on or I'm off. So it doesn't playing Melee won't affect playing Guilty Gear to me. If anything, it would make me play better as long as I'm playing good in Melee.
Personally, I think it's really fun because if I get out 0-2 in one game or something, then I was just like, well, I can still win this game. It feels like there's always something you can look forward to. Probably, maybe you could be in the money in something.
As far as practicing goes, for me personally, I'm not really good at it. It's never been something I do well. Practicing for me is basically just playing. I'm actually getting a lot of poop talk from my friends right now because I'm going to Seattle this weekend to Northwest Majors, and they all think I could be really good or I might do really good, but they know that my practicing habits are so bad, so they're really like I just got offered yesterday. Somebody told me that if I do something good on stream, like something very very precise, that they'll give me $100 because apparently that's they want to see me do that hot shit, not just win but win good, win with style, and that's just kind of not. I don't know. I have such a hard time doing it.
Yeah, personally, for me, Smash and fighting games, they're like completely two completely different practice ethics go into it. Like when I play Smash, I can definitely sit there and practice for hours, but fighting games, not so much. Another good thing about Smash is like I don't think you need to really sit there and practice that much. You can get your practice in just playing. But in fighting games, you can go into a match and there'll just be options you don't have that your opponent will have because they've grinded it out, they've looked things up. You won't be able to just find that information or internalize it just by playing. Whereas in Smash, you can see what someone does, you can recognize the intricacies of their spacing, and you can duplicate it just by watching. It's a lot easier to duplicate, in my opinion, just because there's less knowledge that you have to learn beforehand. You know the rules of the game. You know every character's tools already. You don't really need to look anything up.
I mean, I would agree to an extent, but the only thing that I really have to go against that is that when I started playing Guilty Gear, like I said, I didn't really ever practice. I just played a lot, and I would play and play and play, and I started getting a lot better when I started traveling a lot. And it just felt like after every tournament, I would level up hard because I would just watch people and I'd play them and I would see what they were doing to beat me if I was getting beat. I'd see what they were doing to other people really well. And I don't know, I just had a really successful time of kind of just taking it, not like directly, but it would be in my own way. I would definitely use the information that I gathered.
Yeah, I would definitely say you're that kind of player who you can improve your neutral game so much. And it's a testament to how well you can do just improving your neutral game. But I mean, you admit like there are some you see like people do all these flashy combos, and it'd be nice if you had that, like.
Yeah, no,
it's another tool to have.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's why like people give me such a hard time that are close to me because they keep telling me that, hey, if you had those, what would you be? What would be going on right now? And still here I'm in. I should be practicing right now, but I'm.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do but put in the work,
I don't know.
What do you guys like better between fighting games and Smash Brothers?
Like the scene wise or the game wise?
Either
Okay. As far as the scene wise goes, I really like the Smash scene for a lot of reasons, and I really like the fighting game scene for a lot of reasons. I came from the fighting game scene first, and one thing that has done to me is it conditioned me in a certain way. That's now that I'm in the Smash scene, I get surprised a lot because people in the Smash scenes, I don't honest. It just feels kind of self-entitled sometimes. Actually, a lot of times, as in with the tournaments themselves, because some of the tournaments I would go to for the fighting game tournament is always 2 out of 3, single bracket. You know, like one bracket, double M. There's no pools. There's nothing like that ever. And so when I see people like complaining about that and sad and stuff, I just don't know. I can't help but just thank whoever that I started in the fighting game scene, so I don't really have to, you know, have that internal struggle where I feel like I should have had this or I should have had that. It's more of like either, hey, I'm good or I go home, you know, and that's just kind of like my mentality coming into it. But one thing I will say about the Smash scene is it's very, it's at least from what I gather, it's very brotherhoody like. You know, people really will be. Maybe that's just because it's just Smash, as in that's the label, and so. Well, actually, you know, I guess you could say a lot between the Rift and Melee cause, but it's just people are very friendly. You know, people will like welcome you and are really nice, and you know, everyone. I see a lot of people wanting to help a lot of people, and in the fighting game scene, it wasn't really like that. It could be, but people were really not the nicest, you know. But that's just kind of that like. That's just how it was. Like that's why I think there's like that entitlement with some Smash players because they're just used to it. You know, they're used to it, so. When it's not there, it's kind of bumming them out.
My anecdotal evidence is like kind of the opposite. Like I think the fighting game community has always been super nice. Like I went to UFGT and I felt like I would play Smash players, and because they don't know who I am, they get so angry when they lose to me. But like in fighting games, in fighting games, you get props when you're good, just no matter what. Like you know, they'll be like, "Your cool is really good," and you know, I thought you would beat me for sure. You know, you get stuff like that.
But that's
and I think
player though, right? Well, let's say you weren't a good player, like you know what I mean? And
well,
that's what I'm saying.
But these people don't know me, you know. So just anecdotal evidence. I'm not saying it's true all the time. Just my anecdotal evidence.
I just think your perception would be different if you were if you were just a little bit worse, you know? Okay, maybe a lot more worse.
Right. But at UFGT, I almost got like top 32 in Smash. So you think that would entitle me to more praise? Whereas in KOF, I like didn't even make it out of pools, but I definitely felt like I got more respect in King of Fighters than I'd gotten in Smash, even though I did better in Smash. But that's just a whole nother topic. Anyways,
it might just be because the community is so much bigger. I mean, you kind of get that solo mentality out of the fighting game community, whereas Smash, you kind of get that, oh, let's all play together. Because, I mean, honestly, I've been to a lot of fighting game tournaments. I've been to a lot of Smash tournaments, and you don't have the numbers for fighting game tournaments as you do in Smash. And that's the biggest thing.
I want to talk about
the biggest
that.
things in communities.
Like, one of the things I really like about the Smash community is that even though they can be kind of entitled when it comes to tournaments, they're really relentless when it comes to tournament scheduling. Like, you could probably go to a Smash tournament every week if you wanted to, whereas you don't really have that with fighting games. You'll have, like, a monthly, 2 monthlies sometimes, but Smash, they'll have, like, a big tournament almost every weekend.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. The Smash 4 rule sets. There's been a lot of new ones coming out and dealing with use custom moves, don't use custom moves. Clay, this is probably something that you know a lot about.
Oh, yeah. Right now, the biggest discussion is probably custom versus no customs, because every character, for each special a character has, there's two more like alternatives to that move you can do, and then it's going to allow for way more like the tournaments will be so much more like different, and there's so many more options. But the main problem right now is how hard it is to unlock them, because to unlock them, every one of them is completely random. There's no surefire way to get all of them. Like, the quickest method right now to unlock them all is to buy a turbo controller, set it to like Ganondorf, and do this target blast mode, and just leave your console running for like 4 days straight. And that's like the fastest way to unlock it.
So I know another thing is that people think it takes too long to set up. So the solution that Amazing Ampharos and a lot of other people are coming up with is to just have sets, predetermined sets of custom moves that every character is allowed to have. So this limits the potential, it limits the possibilities for each character because you can only have 15 sets. So there's a finite amount of combinations you can do for each character. And this is going to be decided by Amazing Ampharos and the community. So if you're not a part of that discussion, you feel left out. You feel that's not fair, to just be at the mercy of what these guys say. You don't get a pick. They're essentially almost balancing the game. And I think that's something that has to do with like stage 2. That's a factor. People deciding what stages are legal, that's going to affect how well your character does sometimes too. So I think it's fair. The criticism is pretty fair on that regard.
Yeah, what you said about counterpicking, that's really interesting to me because like there are custom sets. Like I know there's a custom set for Villager that is like specifically like advertised as the Nest Killer because the Nest Villager matchup is so bad. So custom moves are going to completely change some of the matchups. You'll have to completely rethink what you're doing in matchups.
Is there any beyond the Nest versus Villager matchup that you could give an example of?
Sorry, I'm thinking. Sonic has a lot of trouble against characters with higher priority, but I believe one of his custom moves negates that, which would be a good example.
Yeah, I think he has Flame Spin Dash, and
yeah.
Sonic versus Villager is interesting because he has like the double springs, so that like pops 2 balloons at once also.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is interesting.
I definitely think though, if you're gonna have custom moves, it should be an all or nothing thing. I don't think we should have people trying to balance around which ones are okay still, which ones are bad. That just seems kind of ridiculous to me that if we are going to have custom moves, then you can't just narrow down which custom moves we're going to have. I mean, that's the whole point, is that you have the variety.
The problem with that is people already, and admittedly, Smash 4 does take a very long time, and then the menus are not very like laid out very well. So to set up a custom moveset, you have to go back to the main menu, go to like this special area, then set them up individually, which moves you want, and then go back to the main screen. And then you would have to potentially do that after every match, which is the reason these sets are becoming a bigger deal.
See, my opinion is if you want to play with custom moves, you should be responsible for bringing it yourself. And there's this other game. It's a Toho fighting game, and in it you have like a deck of cards. So you can imagine all these people writing, what cards they want in their deck, coming in and setting that stuff up. But people did it because they had to, and they were responsible for bringing that deck to the tournament. And I think that should happen in Smash. Like if you don't bring your own custom moves, then just play vanilla.
But then that opens up a whole other can of worms of, hey, it's not fair for everybody, and not everyone is going to have access to this. Why do I have to spend all this time unlocking all this stuff if I want to play on an even playing field with everyone else? That doesn't seem fair. Also, from the chat, people wanted to know what you guys thought about Mii fighters and if they should be legal.
Mii fighters are interesting because when you make a Mii, you like choose the height and the weight of them, and then that affects how the Mii fighters work. If you have a Mii fighter with high height, he's going to have better range. If you have one with higher weight, he's going to be slower but more powerful. So, but it's not like presets. There's a slider for height and weight, so it's hard to regulate that sort of thing.
I definitely think if they're going to have that many options in the Mii fighters, then they shouldn't be legal. That's just another thing. That's just going to make everything so incredibly hard. Is that do we have them all at the? Since it is a slider, it's going to be, are they all at the furthest right, the furthest left? I mean, I think it's just another one of those things with those things are too random. I think what needs to be established is we got to take whatever randomness we can out of it, as in he doesn't have my moveset on his, I don't have his moveset on mine, so we can't really fight anywhere with our predetermined moveset, so then we just have to both default to vanilla style. I mean, that's pretty much what it would come down to if they were legal at all. I think that would happen way too often. I think, especially if you have to leave it running for 4 days just to unlock everything. It's not that it's too much work, it's that you can't expect everybody to go through that work just so you can have a smooth tournament.
But I mean,
go ahead,
sorry. But I mean, like, you know, like Pokemon has really competitive tournaments, and people put like thousands of hours into their team before they go into a tournament. I feel like it should be no trouble for people if they want to play a Mii fighter that they make their own Mii fighter, you know, and they bring it.
But at Pokemon tournaments, can't you get Pokemon with optimal like IVs and stuff beforehand without like doing any training? I know that
it's actually a lot of work. No matter how you slice it, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, but that's we're talking about the time is the difference. Isn't
Right.
just, oh, I put 1,000 hours into my game. Oh, I can just plug that into your game and we can play a match. It's I put 1,000 hours into my game, you put 1,000 hours into yours. Now we got to spend an extra 15 minutes setting it up so that both of us are happy. And I think that's the hardest point. I mean, the custom, the Mii fighters, it just seems like there's way too much room for argument for any of these things to be considered legal. It's a lot of the randomness again. It's just there's too much argument against it that I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. What about those? Right now, isn't the argument between like 2 and 3 stock though?
Oh yes.
Still arguing over that?
Yeah. People think that two stock obviously runs quicker, and that's one of the main issues people have with Smash 4. Is like, for example, at Evo, how long the Abadongo versus DeBuzz match went, because it went to timer like all 3 matches or something. It was crazy. But so the thing is now, people want it to be 3 stock because with 2 stock, if the most common argument is if you kill yourself once, that's it. You're pretty much just screwed over for the rest of the game. You just basically lose that entire thing. And so if people think 3 stock would be better, but again, the time thing is the issue.
I think if it's going to be a time thing, then that's definitely something to take in consideration more than whether or not you SD. SDing is your fault.
Yeah,
it always has
yes.
been, always will be. You have 4 stock USD, it's no different than having 2 stock in SD. It's just the stakes are higher.
I'm of the opinion that like all Smash games should probably lower down 1 stock. That would be nice. But I think Melee it's been around so long. People are really they don't want to change basically. But I think in this day and age where we're holding 3 Smash games per tournament, singles and doubles, and possibly all the Melee players, they want Melee to be at Evo, right? They want Melee to be around other fighting games. Well, Melee is definitely one of the more time-consuming tournaments to run by far out of all the fighting games. And that's just Melee. You could count in all the other Smash games, it just multiplies. So I think there's they did the statistics on it, right? And only about 20% of outcomes actually change from lowering the stocks. So I think the better player will still win. There's no reason not to lower the stock limit if you're concerned about time, which is always a concern, obviously.
Just really
Any other final thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's been some studies, and I don't know if studies is the right word, but people have been testing it, and they've found that if you have 3 stock 8 minutes, it will most likely take as long, if not shorter, than a 2 stock 6-minute match, because timing it out is no longer seen as a viable option to winning. So the main issue is the people who would be playing campy and timing it out at 2 stock 6 minutes would also be the ones doing it for 3 stock 8 minutes. So it just depends.
Can I just say real quick that on Blank's point about cutting down a stock on Melee, if it was between cutting down one stock, I would just rather not have Smash 4 in the lineup. That way we can have time.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. It's going to be Twitch and its relationship with Project M. So I'm sure a lot of you know that Twitch has removed the ability to put Project M as a game that you are currently streaming. Obviously, you could still stream it, but you cannot. Partners can't stream it anymore. I'm sorry. So, what do you guys think about that and its future?
I think Nintendo needs to get their head out of their butt and see what's going on here, and just that they need to do something about it, but in a proactive way, not just shutting it down or trying to shut it down. It's because it's not going to stop. So I don't understand why they don't just do something with it.
Right, and kind of just like sweeping it under the rug, like they're trying to hide it from the public eye or something.
They are. They are.
I mean, I know it's not okay for people to monetize off of it. I suppose. I mean, it's an illegal gray area, but to try and push it out of the public eye is kind of a low blow.
It's a dick move.
But I don't think Project M is going anywhere.
It's not.
I hope not.
It's going to be in people's faces for a long time, I think. And I think when they release 3.6, it's just going to like fuel the hype machine more. But I know that Project M has kind of been suffering from like lack of mainstream access because as far as tournaments go, like the last national for Project M probably had about 8,000 viewers. And I know like nationals for Melee hit around like 30,000, 25,000 to 30,000. So it's definitely not as big, but the following is so hardcore, they're not going to give up just because Nintendo doesn't want them to. So I think that's the strong suit.
I think they really need to understand that. Well, I mean, there is a legality issue of it. They do have their name on it. It is their characters. So, I mean, a lot of thing with the hacking and the modifying is you can really adjust those characters however you want, which isn't necessarily the way Nintendo meant for them to be seen, which I think is like probably their biggest argument as far as why they don't want it to be there. I haven't heard that argument from anyone other than me, but I mean, it probably would be their biggest one. It sounds to me more like they just don't like that their game got modded, and they don't like to see other people know that that's an opportunity, that that's an option, that you can mod their games and mess with their games.
Didn't they announce that was okay, though, at one point recently? Am I mistaken with that?
Nintendo announced that it was okay to monetize specific games. It was a very specific list.
What?
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I don't think Smash was on them. There's speculation, that Smash 4 might be competing with Project M, and I can definitely see that because a lot of people played Project M waiting for Smash 4 because it just felt like the sequel to Brawl that people wanted. And now that Smash 4 is out, there's the possibility of them competing, and Nintendo doesn't want that. They want people to buy Smash 4 and support Nintendo so that they keep making Smash games.
Yeah, but they have a complete opposite view. That's not the audience. Like 10% of the people that are playing Smash were like, yeah, really, Smash, or playing PM were like, yeah, Smash 4 is coming out, I'm going to move to that. People who were playing PM because they didn't like Brawl, not because they were waiting for the new Smash 4 to come out.
I mean, I disagree. You'd be surprised how many people really moved on from PM to Smash 4 just because they were just looking for the next new thing, and that makes up a lot of people.
Well, the next new thing is just the bandwagon. I mean, if people are jumping from bandwagon to bandwagon, I mean, that's their prerogative, but I mean, it's not like Nintendo is going to stop. They're not competing then. Is that PM was just the middleman. So anyone that Nintendo was trying to stop from just playing PM for looking at the next biggest thing, they were going to always go to Smash 4.
Yeah, and we want Nintendo to realize that PM only helps Smash. We want them to support PM, but it's just so out of their territory compared to other companies who support their mods and whatnot.
it's very odd because, I mean, they don't have to support it. They just have to not actively fight against it. I mean, that's all that the community's really hoping for. And we never ask for support. We never ask for them to say, "Oh yeah, this is a great game. You guys did good." You know, I didn't think we'd be able to make. We didn't really want to just do a PM port or a Melee port to the Brawl, but they haven't said anything like that. They just said, "We don't want you showing our game on it."
Were you gonna say something, David?
One of the biggest things is Nintendo can't acknowledge Project M without like being forced to take legal action against it. If they if they acknowledge Project M at all, like the way their copyright works, they have to defend their copyright. So if they acknowledge Project M, they're going to be forced to like send a cease and desist. And I used to kind of defend Nintendo because I was like, oh, just ignoring it, that's like the best thing it can possibly do. But now that they're actively trying to like shut it down, I think that's going a little too far.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they like just kind of dumping on some of the people who supported them? So, like me, for example, I've supported Nintendo since I was 3, and not that I was really supporting. I was playing them, but I'm saying it's something that's a huge part of my life, and I love it for a lot of reasons. But this whole Smash thing has put such a bad taste from Nintendo in my mouth that I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's kind of weird because, you know, I branded myself with Nintendo. Like and now I'm like, God, these guys are dicks, and I don't want to think like that. I just don't understand why they can't just be cool. Why can't we all be cool?
And, yeah, like, I don't think that's just like a PM thing either. Just like we kind of expect Nintendo to throw the competitive players a bone, and they're like slowly acknowledging us. They gave us a word at Evo, you know. But in my opinion, it's just not enough. You know,
not at all. It's not at all.
We're selling out, wanting Nintendo support, and you know the best they can give us is you know, Splatoon at Apex, right? Like they're not throwing down pop bonuses like Capcom is throwing down like 500K on Street Fighter this year. Like why can't Nintendo just do something like that? Whereas, you know, when Apex went downhill, we didn't turn to Nintendo. Nintendo didn't help us. We turned to the community. We turned to Twitch, you know. So I'm just saying, why all the fear of getting shut down by Nintendo when Nintendo's not doing anything for us?
Well,
that's just my opinion.
You know?
Yeah, well, we're playing the game.
Still love your daddy, even if you
I mean, yeah, they just need to respect their player base. They really want a lot of control over their player base, it seems, and that never really works out. I mean, you're just going to alienate people the more you try and control them. Like just how they said for about 15 minutes, they said that they weren't going to allow people to stream Melee.
Oh yeah, the Evo.
Yeah, Evo. They weren't going to allow it.
They just wanted as much control over their product as they possibly can. It's like, you have to understand, this is an art form. Put it out there, let people enjoy it, let people love it, and let people come back to you because they loved it. Don't try and control how they look at it.
I think a lot of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Nintendo is so new to this competitive, like to the FGC altogether, because like Capcom and whatever, they've been in it forever. They know like how it works. But for Nintendo, Melee and like all this Smash in general is really their first entrance to it. Because like there's a competitive like Pokemon scene and like whatever, but it's all regulated by Nintendo. While Smash is more the rules and everything is made by the community itself, and that's where the difference lies. I think.
Do you guys think there will be a resurgence in PM in maybe 1 or 2 years? Maybe sooner.
I think it just depends on what they do with PM.
I think it definitely depends on the updates. I mean, if they want to add, you know, if they have the room for it to add the Smash 4 characters, I think that will definitely see a huge influx of people. Just because that's the biggest thing is why people are moving to the next game. The next game is the selection. How many characters can they play? How much fun can they have with it on different stages? New items. I mean, new is great. New is fun. New is exciting. I mean, I'm always going to go back to Melee until there's a better option because I see it as the best option. But I mean, if there's going to be a big influx back to PM, I think it's definitely going to be a downfall of Smash 4, just like with the downfall of Brawl, and a good update. And I think
Well,
it's
look
got a
at
lot of
Melee.
good updates.
Yeah. Look at Melee. Melee hasn't changed at all. But what changes is the players, you know? People find a new appreciation for the game, and they find a new appreciation for the players that play it, that put the work into it. So I don't think necessarily that the game has to change so much as the player's mindset towards PM. Like once people learn how to play it at a super high level, it's undeniable. People will flock to it. You know, they'll see how interesting it is if they see other people taking it to that level. And like you said, it's also Smash 4. Like when Brawl came out, Melee died a little bit, but it came back. So you know, Smash 4 comes out, PM might die a little bit, but I think it'll be back.
Any other closing thoughts?
Down.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. This is a big one. I'm sure lots of people watched the Sandstorm. That's what it was called, the big MVG tournament. And there's a lot to talk about here, so it's going to be kind of a longer topic. Did everyone here watch that tournament or catch some of it or some of the drama about it?
I read up on it, but I didn't watch it at all.
Okay, well, if you read about it, then good enough. What do you guys think about how that tournament was run and just MVG in general?
Well, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to like criticize, like as a TO, as someone who's like tried to TO myself, and it, you know, I got roped into it at Big House, and I try to help out at a lot of tournaments. And once you've done that, it's really hard to be critical of other people who are also doing in the same position as you.
Yeah,
But-
I agree a lot with that, and especially not being there too. You know, that's another huge thing. Like, yeah, I read about it, but just like Blank said, I kind of take what I read with a very just a grain of salt, because you know people like to, I don't know, just everything can be skewed out of the what we really see, that I don't want to judge someone for something they might not have done, especially.
Yeah, it was obviously handled very, very poorly, but after going back and looking later, it seems like a lot of the things were either remedied or had explanations to why they happened, and it was ran horribly. Like I'll say that, but I think there needs to be some credit to MVG for trying to fix things. Like I know they gave HBox and Westballs some money or something after they moved their setup and lost. After who lost the match? HBox lost. So they gave both of them some money for that, and the thing with Zero and Mewtwo's name, apparently that was just their friend did that, and it was just supposed to be just a local thing, but then someone when they were making the brackets just put it down as that as well. So it's not completely excusable, but I feel like there's an explanation for some things.
Just for those people that don't know, what happened with the team name for Zero and Mewtwo King was that apparently, as a joke, one of the TOs, their friend, had put their team name as "Don't hate us because we're autistic," and that apparently made it through to the actual bracket, even though it was supposed to be a joke. So that's what Clay was talking about there.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I mean, I've seen some very offensive names, especially team names back in my day.
I guess the point was
company included.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a lot of fun. I mean, you're there playing a video game competitively. If you can't take a name like that as a joke, I mean, I don't know what you're doing there.
I don't think it was a matter of it being a joke. I'm sorry. It was just that MVG tries to present themselves as being kind of the new, almost like a rival to MLG. So the level of professionalism should be a little bit higher, don't you think? That sort of thing shouldn't happen. Whether or not people are getting offended by it, obviously Mewtwo King and Zero weren't. But should they really be doing that is the question.
I mean, if you're going to talk about it on a professional level, then I think if they really thought that was them asking Mewtwo King and Zero, I think would have been showing professionalism if that was their actual name. I think it shows a lack of actually reading through what they're getting, as opposed to them presenting that name. I mean, I think it's fine to present that name as a team name. If that wasn't their name and they had any suspicions and they decided not to ask, I think that was very dumb and not professional for them to do. There's a lack of manpower, lack of leadership at the place. But I mean, personally, I'm all for that freedom to say what you want, and I got a very large sense of humor. So,
Yeah,
I mean, to me, that was completely acceptable, even on an MLG level. I mean, we have Dr. PP. That's a person's name. He has to say that. Someone has to say that every time he gets on a stream in a match.
Actually, EG made him change that to PPMD. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That doesn't make it better. I mean, at all. I mean, there's a lot of other names. Dr. PP to PPMD. I mean, the only reason that sounds remotely okay is because you're just assuming it's an acronym for something other than PP, medical diploma. That's the only reason why. You're not really getting away with anything there.
Well, I think if a specific group of people can take offense to something, that it's worth paying attention to. I know PP himself, he's kind of changed his vocabulary a little bit ever since the Smash community has blown up, because it used to not be so PG. It didn't used to be this tame, for sure. And I think, like, it kind of shows a little bit of incompetence if you know that people are going to be upset at something and you just let it slip through anyways, right? Like, people are going to find this distasteful, but they let it slip through.
People are going to find a lot of things distasteful. Everything. I mean, my name could be considered distasteful because I know there's a religious group that believe that magic is some kind of evil power. I mean, come on. If you're talking about professionalism, it's how the stream was run. I heard there was an argument on the stream. That should have been handled quickly. That wasn't. That's the level of professionalism we're talking about that needed to be addressed. Is an argument on the stream as opposed to actually watching and commentating on the stream is something that needs to be talked about. Names are just arbitrary.
Do you know what the argument was about?
I personally didn't really hear it.
I was listening to it. I think it was just like something about like the bit rate of how they were. It was just like they're arguing about the streaming itself.
As the stream quality was going down.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, that does ring a bell. Something about how this is all broken. I don't know anything about the technical stuff. Someone just fix this, please.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do in a panic situation is just like start pointing fingers. So they basically did the worst thing, you know.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Mewtwo King both dropping out of Melee as well? Let's start there. Mewtwo King just dropping out of Melee because he was seeded lower than Leffen. He wanted 3rd seed and he got 5th. So he's below Hungrybox and Leffen.
I think he came out and said that's not why. It could have just been an excuse. But his reasoning was he didn't feel confident in that he could win Melee and decided he would rather focus on Smash 4.
I see that as an extremely Mewtwo King thing, so
Yeah.
it's not really.
And then he even went so far as to say he wishes he would have dropped out of Smash 4 and stayed in Melee. So I'm not sure it was a seeding thing.
I think that was later proven to not be true, but there are conflicting stories there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to jump to conclusions. I mean, either way, him dropping out just kind of shows a lack of preparedness, one way or the other. If he really wanted to not play 2 games, then he should have known from the beginning he didn't want to play 2 games. If he was dropping out because of seeding, which is pretty, sounds kind of likely. I mean, just prove yourself. I mean, you know who you are. People know who you are. Prove yourself. Win.
Isn't this Mewtwo King's brand, kind of?
He owns 10%.
So, I mean, that's crazy to me that he would drop out of a tournament where he has, like, all these... Where he really wants the tournament to do well. That just seems super counterproductive for whatever reason, just because, I mean, he's such a big name and people want to play this dude, And to just drop out of the tournament for whatever reason, especially when you have... It's a part that you don't. I don't understand that at all. It's crazy.
Dropping out of a tournament because you don't think you can win is the worst excuse you can give for dropping out of a tournament. I mean, if you don't have confidence in yourself, then what are you doing there in the first place? And if you had confidence in yourself, where did it go? I mean, you play to win. I mean, everyone in that tournament can't possibly be thinking, people who are seated 32nd, 34th, whatever, can't possibly be thinking, oh, this is going to be it, guys. Don't worry. I'm going to beat Mewtwo King and H-Box this whole game. No worry. I'm going to make myself known right here and now. There's a lot of people who want to enter that tournament not believing they'd win the whole thing. It's a tournament. You play your best. You do your best. And if you are the best, you'll win.
He has some investment in that brand too, so it is surprising.
Yeah, so MVG obviously has a lot of money to throw into this. I think someone mentioned, I believe it was Clay earlier, that they kind of gave Hungrybox and Westballs some money just to make up for the fact that they had to switch or for the stream problems or something. So where are they getting this money from, and what does it say about them as an organization that they're just throwing money at the problem instead of maybe finding other ways to fix it?
Well, throwing money at a problem, we're going to talk about that. Everyone does that to work. I mean, you have to, in order to fix a problem, something has to be done, and a lot of times money's involved. Where they're getting their money, I don't know their books. I mean, if they're actually doing little sponsorship deals, if they have a little surplus banked on the side, I mean, I don't think personally that's a good use of their money, no matter how much they really have. But I mean, if they have a problem and they're going to throw money at it, if that works, it works. I mean, at this point, though, they should really be looking at making their viewers happy. I mean, they need to be establishing their brand, just like everybody else who's on the internet.
Yeah, my main issue with MVG is that it doesn't seem like they're in the community because of their passion for Smash or whatever. They're in it because they see it as this industry that's blowing up, and they're gonna get in front of it so they can get the money. I've talked to the head of MVG, Greg. I've been talking to him about some partnering with some tournaments, and the first thing he always asks is, how much do you need? What will my return be? And I don't know. That's really all it seems like they care about is just the money and the notoriety. And it's not really about the game itself.
Why would they even do Smash then? That's crazy. Not to say that Smash isn't on the rise, but there's just there's better ways to make money, it seems like.
Right. If you're in it for the money, you might as well sponsor League of Legends or something,
Yeah, I think League and Dota are the two biggest names out there right now. They really want to get ahead of the small percentage of people that are actually watching the fighting games. I mean, personally, I think Melee's a good place to start, but if you're in it for just the money, it's not really the worthwhile investment I think they're trying to do. I think they definitely probably have a little bit of respect towards the game. That's why they wanted to do it. But, I mean, they have to be looking out for the cut and dry money as a business. They just have to be looking out for that at least a little bit. I'd be worried if they didn't ask what the return would be or anything like that.
Well, I know something similar happened at a fighting game tournament in NorCal Regionals. What happened was the Xbox they were playing on had the wrong version of Street Fighter, so they replayed the first 4 matches of top 8 winners, and when they replayed it, only one match's outcome was changed. So they kind of felt bad for that one guy who lost his match that he had already won, basically, because they switched to a new version. So what the tournament organizer did was they offered to pay for him to fly him out to another major, and I think that shows you really cared about not just the money, but what mattered more was that he was in that moment and you took it away from him, And I think that made a lot of sense what he offered there.
I think that's definitely a good use for their money. That's definitely a good use to establish themselves as being part of the community. And I think really to me that says a lot more that they're part of the community than them just wanting the numbers for a tournament.
Right. The reward is not the money. The reward is it's the experience that he's going to get, and it's the experience that we're going to get by watching him, which is what it's all about, not just the monetary gain that you get from playing. Because if you want monetary gain, there are just lots of better things to be doing. That's just
like a
my
9 to
opinion.
5.
That's true, but yeah. a lot of people, they do want to make money just doing something that they like. And I'm not going to tell them that they can't, but you could just make 4 times the money doing something, having a regular job.
One more quick thing for the end of this topic. Mucha King posted that he was basically suicidal over this and wants MVG to have another chance. So first of all, what's wrong with that dude? And second of all, should we do that?
Well, he's got 3 stocks left, so.
It's up to him how he wants to use it. Definitely, I think that sounds like an overreaction. And, I mean, there's probably a lot of people that are going to take that the wrong way, that he would overreact all the way to saying suicidal over just a stream going poorly,
Anyone
a tournament running wrong.
not going to take that the wrong way, though, so you actually know that dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't, though. I'm just saying, like, it's definitely, if you were talking about a business professional and all that, I mean, that's another way to kind of lose the respect of people, is just by talking about how he's posting about how he's suicidal over a poorly run tournament. I mean, giving people another chance, I mean, I think it's going to happen anyways. I don't think anyone's going to be really that deterred away from tuning back in to MVG just because one time they had a bad stream and a bad tournament. If they have it consistently, then people are going to turn away. One time really doesn't kill viewership.
Actually, I think
they're really going to kill their name through one tournament.
I think if you're a big name, like and people like find something to talk about with your tournament, that's a good thing. Like, because you're already in there, you're already a big name. Even if it's bad publicity, it's still publicity. People are going to be talking about your next tournament. They're going to be looking at your tournament and they'll be thinking, "Oh man, I can't wait to see if there's another train wreck."
And that's probably why I feel like he would say those things, And I'm not trying to downplay suicide or anything, just that he knows he has a lot of people listening to him, and I've just I've seen him firsthand just do some grimy ass shit before, and so I can't take that serious. It feels like it's just he's saying it to get people to come back or to give them another chance or whatever.
He's made some ludicrous statements before, like asking for like 7 3DSs when he didn't get a Stream Smash 4 on time. There's just a ton of things. You can't really take anything he says too seriously.
That's
but
how I feel.
I mean, I know it's a serious topic, but still.
No,
It's just classic Mucha King.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the final topic, which is just going to be a viewer question. Moving from Smash, playing Smash Brothers, into the FBGC, how do you get your feet wet there?
You just gotta
You
show
want to start
up.
by blocking. You want to start by blocking. I don't know.
You just have to. I mean, when it comes to the fighting game community, the way I see it is you just have to go out there and you have to do whatever it takes. If what you want to do is get noticed, then you just got to be good or a good commentator or something. Run a good tournament. But if you're looking to be a player, to get noticed, you just have to be good. And I know that's kind of like easier said than done, but you show up and keep grinding. People will notice if you're there a lot. They will. But you have to grind, you have to be there. You can't just like want to so it's there. It just doesn't work that way, like with anything.
I think we got a great opportunity, actually, with the way Nebraska is set up, that we do have a lot of games, a lot of fighting games accompanied with Smash in tournaments. I mean, so just enter in. I mean, get some practice in, play some online games, get somewhat comfortable playing a character. Then go ahead and just sign up for the event, the side event next to this Melee tournament, and dive into the deep end head first. Get in a tournament, play it. You don't like it, you like it. You think you're out of your league, play some more. Ask people some friendlies afterwards. Get into the game, dive into it head first just like you would anywhere else. I mean, it's just the same thing. You got to find what communities are online, what forums you want to look at. I mean, ask the people that are there. They're probably on them right now.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that is that new players. One thing, especially in the Smash community, that I find is that people are kind of like really scared to approach people and like say, hey, will you show me this, or hey, are you hosting games, or do you host games? Or I'm pretty I can be pretty introverted at times, so I have a hard time just reaching my hand out, but I would never push someone away. So if anyone, I mean, I see people kind of like, stick it out there like they want to, and it's almost like they're waiting for me to invite them or something like that, and I just have a hard time with that because, like I said, if you want it, then you need to get it. And one thing is about getting it is just talking to people and asking people for advice or to play or, whatever, but talking and putting yourself out there. It's hard, I know, but if you want to get better, that's like what you have to do.
And I think something like when you're new to fighting games and you're coming from any other game, not just Smash, like everyone always has like these preconceptions of every game, and they try to find like what game is the best game for me or what game should I start with, and really you just shouldn't think about games that way. Like every game is an adventure that's going to teach you something. You should think it that way. You shouldn't really go into a game starting to already judging every game by its merits and thinking, oh, well, I'm going to play this game because it's better than all the other ones. Because like, there's no use arguing that. You don't know enough about the games yet to say that. Go into the game expecting to learn something, and if you find that what you've learned is not for you, then you can go to another game. But don't go into a game thinking, well, this is a better use of my time because it's better in X and X reason for whatever reason that you can come up with. You don't know enough about the games yet, so just play them,
I saw just in the chat right now, Schism, aka Chris, made the comment, just make sure the person you asked to hang out or for advice or whatever is not Daytrick in the fighting game community. I will. I think Daytrick is probably one of my favorite people ever. You got to tread lightly at first because it's just what you do. So I think a good example is Cole Tyler. He posted in the Omaha fighting game scene Facebook group asking if people wanted to play games, and he's new, and well, Daytrick just kind of laid into him pretty hard, and he's joking, and if you know him, we kind of know that, but if you don't know him, then it's, I don't know, I don't know what his take on it was. I kind of meant to ask him, but it was pretty long, and I don't want to say well thought out, but it was just a lot of shit talk and telling him to go home, basically.
It was a really good roast, and basically he told Tyler to like learn how to do a motion first.
Yeah.
Like when you come back, when you can do a DP motion or something, just like.
It was pretty funny.
Actually, I had a quick question about that. I think a lot of people in the Nebraska Smash community are pretty approachable, but I don't know anyone in the FGC in Nebraska or Iowa or kind of the Midwest area. With the exception of Daytrick, maybe if you didn't know him, do you think that it's easy or it's doable to go up to people and talk to them?
Yeah, I think I do. I think it's just a little more intimidating for various reasons. But no, everyone. I mean, one of the reasons why I've done this for so long and I've been a part of it so long is because I love all these people a lot. Because they're great people, generally speaking. You see, sometimes you just got to get to know them. You got to get underneath that like exterior aggressiveness that gets, I think, portrayed at least a lot in the Omaha fighting game scene. But it's like that a lot in other places too. Deep down, we're all kind of like nerds who like to play games, and that's what we're there doing. So.
Yeah, I definitely could say the Iowa scene is really approachable too. As far as fighting games, we have our own special group, separate Facebook group for fighting games as well, the 29th Chamber, and it's always a good time, honestly.
Any closing thoughts?
If you want to get good at fighting games, you should learn to block. I said that the first time, but it's a serious understatement. Like, so many people go into fighting games and they don't want to block. They get knocked down and they don't want to block because they're just not used to it. They're just used to like pressing buttons and stuff, and you gotta learn when you can press buttons before you do that.
I'll definitely say for anyone listening that's interested, like I said, all you have to do is approach me if you're looking to use or something. That's it. And I'm not one to turn people away. I think maybe my sometimes I'm a bit quiet for various reasons, and that makes me seem like I'm a dick or something. I'm not, I promise.
Okay. Thanks so much to all you guys for being on here. It was great to have all of you. Thanks for talking with all of us and making a great show. This will be up This will be up on YouTube later. And if you guys have any Twitters or your own stream or whatever you want to plug, go ahead and do that.
I stream Melee sometimes, but otherwise you can catch me at Blank Mauser.
Yeah, you should type it in the chat. That'd be good.
Oh, I'm not actually in the chat. Whoops. I'll go there now. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, my Twitter is @ClayGraph. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay. Thanks so much, guys. We will see you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
You're welcome for having me.